Beep, beep, beep.
Boom, boom.
No.
Boom, boom. Boom, boom.
No. No.
UAE reports 11 new COVID cases today.
UAE schools switched to e-learning for 2 weeks.
Government temporarily bans residents from entering.
UAE schools cancel internal exams.
UAE reports 50 new cases and 7 new recoveries.
UAE reports 3-day lockdown.
UAE schools continue e-learning till June 2020.
UAE takes tough measures to beat coronavirus.
UAE closes all borders. So, during quarantine, I discovered a funny part of myself that I never knew existed. My brain cloned me into little tiny people, but in my brain. Kind of like the movie Inside Out, without emotions. Let me give an example. First, we have Responsible Me. She's most popular because she's involved in everything that I do. Prayer times, food intake, and scheduling are her favorite subjects. She takes care of the important stuff, like memorizing my script, choosing an outfit to go to places, and remembering God every day. Social Me is pretty versatile. She works with Responsible Me and acts as a filter from my brain to my mouth. They both make sure that I don't say the wrong thing or the dumb thing. But I do often say the dumb thing, but I just apologize after. Now, Theory Me usually generates a lot of shower thoughts. She comes up with a lot of thoughts that I usually tend to forget unless I want to tell somebody else. I don't really believe in anything she says, but I just think it's cool. Now, Daydreaming Me is the reason I zone out. She usually works solo and casts me in my favorite movies and TV shows as an additional character. She usually works when I'm either bored or about to fall asleep. Sometimes it's when I'm in public, just to keep my brain occupied. I guess you could say that these clones kind of claimed themselves through me. They laughed, cried, worked, and giggled alongside their robotic motherboard.
On October 4th, I was chatting with a few friends on my phone when my dad called me to his room, as he usually does. He was laying in his bed, and when I entered, he propped himself up on his elbow and said, "I got the results of the COVID test. You tested positive." I denied it immediately, brushed it off, and went back to my room. I returned to my phone and told one of my friends about it. That's when it hit me. I started asking why and how as I fell asleep. I was only 12. It usually hurts older people. It didn't make sense that I got it and not my dad. The next morning, it hit me a little more. I forgot to wear my mask a few times to the small grocery shop across the street. I go biking with my friend Amara every day. Sometimes we'd play ding dong ditch. One time a neighbor ended up yelling at us and followed us. We had to not go home so he wouldn't know where we lived. But anyways, back to my presumed positive story. I fully understood how and why I could have had COVID. The more time it passed, the more in denial I was about it. Well, don't worry, I got tested the very next day. My nose is pretty violated at this point. I was presumed positive and not actually positive. Today, I'm COVID-free. I am presumed negative.
पुट कीअं आई फ्लाइट कीअं हो वेलकम होम मां गुड नाइट थोड़ी देर पहिरीं अंदरि विधो आहे चिंता न कर सुभाणे तुंहिंजो भेल सींख खणी ईंदसि थकिजी वई हूंदीअ वञी आराम कर सच चओ ब्रश न कए न हिते तक बांस थी अचे तुंहिंजी वरी ब्रश करे अच जल्दी मुंहिंजी कुर्सी इंतज़ार थी करे न्यूज़ ऐं चांहि जे लिए खाधो खा पुट खण तुंहिंजो गुप्तास बेल सुखो ऐं स्पाइसी खा न मूंखे ख़बर आहे तोखे ही खपंदो हो जॾहिं खां तूं अंदरि आई आहीं ही बि खण तुंहिंजो सींग बॉइल्ड हल्दी ऐं लूण सां खा ही रोज़ न मिलंदो
Nana, I'm calling you son instead of the other way around. Don't worry. We are all fine. You rest. Who's going to make fun of my rabbit teeth now? I brush my teeth extra hard just for you. Your chair is idle. It hasn't heard the news for a few months now. Who's going to prepare Gupta's bhel and boiled peanuts for me? You were right. I didn't have it every day. Now I don't have it at all. I will be happy, as you taught me. I will laugh, as you taught me. And I will respect everyone, as you taught me. Don't worry. We are all fine. You rest.
What can I say? You've caused many emotions for me these past months. Places are closed down, but they're opening up again. But you have kept me cooped up in my house for months. You made me spend so much money on masks, and I'm only supposed to use them once? Don't even get me started with school. I've been so lost in school. I'm not physically there. I'm actually alone, sitting in the same chair for 7 hours. I'm annoyed by the thought that my butt is getting deformed. With my skinny legs, each time I stand up, I cramp up. I double down myself every time I see that mute button. How embarrassing would it be if I forgot to click it and everyone heard me talking to myself? You know what? No. COVID needs to keep that 6 feet distance. In fact, take that 6 feet distance, times it by 1 million, and stay 6 million feet away from all of us. Because when that vaccine comes, I'm going to take it. And I'm going to hang out with my friends with my whole face out. How about that? That's right. I'm going to get in my car, roll down my car window, and breathe freely. And I'm gonna like it.
On April 9th, during one of my book club meetings, my friend, Gianni's mum, Miss Leslie, walked in and called out my name. She said that my dad was in the hospital because he had been in a car crash and that she would be taking me home instead of him. In the book If I Stay, the main character, Mia, saw her entire family's death in a car accident. Well, as Miss Leslie was telling me about my dad, I did that. It was really gory. I kept trying to not think about my dad, because I knew if I thought about him for too long, I'd probably end up crying. I held strong for a while, but then I failed. I couldn't not stop thinking about my dad. I failed more. This time, my sniffle betrayed me and let out a sound, and everyone noticed. Miss Leslie received a message from my dad saying that I could visit him in the hospital. I grabbed my backpack and headed for the door with Yanni. We got to the hospital and the nurse guided me in. My dad was laying there, hooked up to an IV. I was terrified just seeing him there. Seeing a bag connected to his veins through a needle gave me the chills. It was my dad. I bawled. He asked me why, and I said it was because he was in the hospital. He laughed and said that he was fine. I asked about the car, and he said that he was doing much better than it. We ended up buying a new car later that month.
"9 months. It has been 9 months since you spread chaos all over the world. Every day you steal people from us. You stole one from me. 9 months since we were forced to stay inside. It has been 9 months since our country was silenced. Where cars should have been. Where traffic should have been. We are not able to go outside without a care. We are not able to breathe freely because of you. The constant voice in our head, the voice which speaks your language. Every location echoes it. Supermarkets, newspapers, shopping malls, it's everywhere. Wash your hands, wear a mask, stay 6 feet apart. It's exhausting.
On January 16th, I received a text message from a friend. It read, "There's a new deadly virus going around, no cure. Symptoms include coughing, fever, and sore throat. Be careful when you step outside your house and be wary of the food you eat." I brushed it off. I didn't think too much about it. My mum said it wasn't too important. It's so that we all know that it was very important. 2 months later, my book club meetings got cancelled and my singing classes were postponed until further notice. Flash forward to today, I can't go outside, I can't see my friends, I can't go to any of my club activities. Summer went by, I didn't go to England. Instead, I did nothing. I'm lazy now. I sleep a lot too. I actually think I like sleeping more than I like staying awake.
I'm a senior in an Indian curriculum board. And in case you don't know, my finals are created all the way back in India. They are set up to make a student fail. Do you know what that means? I need to put twice as much effort as any other student puts in. Plus, classes are all online. Do you know how difficult that is? Teachers assume that students don't have a life outside school. And because we are at home, they dump more work on us. Ugh! I disconnect my audio more often than not in classes. And the internet is a fingertip away from me. And I end up watching videos on YouTube and listening to music and doing everything else except for actually paying attention to the class. Of course, this is partially my fault, but it's also mostly your fault. I miss being in an actual class where I can beg the teacher for a free period. Now every class is a free period. My social life is a whole other disaster. My circle of friends has just bloomed. And now you've taken that away from me, from us. In my senior year, you've taken that away.
When it all started, I was honestly excited. Doing work at home was gonna be a breeze. But a few months later, I was overwhelmed with stress because of this dang disease. On the last day of school, last day before spring break, I was curious how long this quarantine was gonna take, but it's been how long now? I'm getting impatient, hoping that this thing would go away. 9 months now, wish I could just go back to warn people that bats were not meant to be snacks. As of right now, I feel like every day is the same. Trying my best, try to just stay sane. This vaccine will come soon, you'll just have to wait, but for now I feel like my life is just thrown away. By staying inside, I want to be a normal teen. But there's one thing stopping me. It's COVID-19.
Whoosh. Beep. Boom, boom. No. Boom, boom. No. No.
UAE minister received vaccine.
1,500 cases reported.
13 new deaths across the Emirates.
95,000 tests conducted.
1,595 cases reported in the UAE today.
1,238 new coronavirus cases.
UAE has lowest death rates in the world.
35,000 dirham fine for group gatherings.
UAE residents leave toilet paper on doorstep for delivery men.
Grandfather meets granddaughter for the first time through a window, adhering to social distancing measures.
81-year-old husband visits wife in nursing home.
Police officer stops and salutes a doctor.
Tom Hanks sends typewriter to bullied boy named Corona.
– 81-year-old Emirati makes miraculous recovery.
No crimes reported.
I'm at my theatre group, and they're, amazing.
I took up a hobby of dance.
Things have really slowed down, which is really what I needed. And since I'm a senior, I have a lot to do.
I have more time to spend with my family, and even though they're a bit annoying sometimes, it's just,
I use this quarantine to catch up on my favorite movies and TV shows.
Even though there's a pandemic going on, isn't it a bit teeny cool that we are going to go down in the books of history?
I wrote a book, and I'm only 12 years old.
I use this quarantine to figure out what I like and what I don't like, and most importantly, figure out who I am.